If I said it, I meant it, don't question me now.
Well, good evening, everyone, and welcome to this week's edition of Coach's Corner. I'll be your host, the coach, Terry Murray, bringing to you over 40 years of coaching experience for your pleasure to share with you. So, welcome and thank you for joining tonight. We are a Cleveland area local sports talk show, and we might get outside that realm a little bit, but that's basically who we are. So if you're tuning in and like what you hear, stay with us. We get into a little bit of everything: football, baseball, basketball, hockey. We talked about the Olympic sports last week. What a um, experience that was with the 2 gold medals for both the women's and men's hockey team in the same year. So that was never been done before. So what a uh, good time in for the USA in the Winter Olympics. So welcome again, and just thanks for tuning in tonight. I'm waiting for some more people to get online here. If you can hear me and everything sounds okay, won't you shoot me a comment to make sure that you're able to hear the music in my voice? I'm not too loud, not too soft. Before we get into things, we've got a lot of things to talk about tonight. My gosh, the NFL Combine was just this past weekend and past week. A lot of things going down with that. The Cavs had some big games that were played that we're really going to dive into the Cavs this evening because it's getting down to the nitty gritty. There's about 20 games left. So we want to touch on them and talk a little bit about the Cleveland Cavaliers tonight. The big thing is, though, the Browns made a trade today. And they picked up an offensive lineman. And as all of you know, if you're a Browns fan, what do we need the most? An offensive line. Oh, my daughter's on board. Jade, good evening. John Landy is here. Here you can't see you. Okay. Let me know if you're having problems seeing me. Jade, can you see me since you're on here? Let's see who else. Let me know that you got me. Um, what's going on? So, anyway, so I don't want to get too far in it. Just make sure that you can see and hear me, or I may have to make some adjustments here somehow. So, again, real quick before we get into the nitty gritty about everything, just a little bit about myself. Like I said, 40 years of coaching experience. I started in the youth program, worked my way all the way up through junior high, high school, and even into the semi pro gamut, and coached a few years in that. Had pretty good success no matter what level I was at. And it is actually one of the loves of my life, besides my family, would be coaching. And I've done it at a very young age. Started off at 15 working for the Park and Rec, and still doing it today at a limited capacity. But I've had lots of life experiences through coaching. So it's been a blessing to me, and I hope to be able to be a blessing to you tonight. Everybody's saying that they can see me. Okay, John Landy, you better adjust your screen there, buddy, so you can see me. All right. Thanks again for tuning in tonight, John. I appreciate you. And so, just talking about myself, so people are wondering, like, who is this coach, and what is Coach's Corner? I started this talk show as a way to actually get in contact with a lot of my past players. I've coached well into the thousands of kids, young boys and girls alike, men and women, that I have coached in different sports. Mostly the background for me is football, but I did coach baseball for quite a few years, girls softball, and coached a little bit of basketball, which is one of my great loves. I love to play basketball. So I have a little bit of experience in all of it, and I'm able to share that with you. So come on board. It's not a talk show without you. So make sure you give your comments and what you would like to hear me talk about, and we'll dive into it. Wanted to say tonight, though, we are in the process of looking for sponsors for the show. If you're interested, to reach out to me tonight, or you can private message me through Coach's Corner, shoot me an email. And also, I'm working on getting some guests to come on in what we call our Coaches Spotlight portion of the show, which could be about 15 to 30 minutes of me talking to one of my past players or coaches who have went on and really had a very successful career in the sport that I had coached them. Some of them are coaching themselves right now. Have some of them have went on to get married and have a family of their own, and now they're coaching their own kids like I coached them. But I have had several athletes to go on to the pros, semi-pros, and quite a few go on to D1 through D3 colleges. So it will be interesting to have them on board and to see how they're doing. So that's a big part of the reason that I started this broadcast. And hopefully, Brenda, hey, Brenda, I hope you're feeling better, Brenda. Thanks for tuning in tonight. Stay with us. Hopefully, Tom's on board, so he's watching too. I know he's a big Indian/Guardian fan. For us old timers, we still call them Indians, but I'm kind of getting used to the Guardians. But I'm still not going to throw away my $150 dugout jacket that says Indians on it. I'm still wearing that, just so you know. So don't hate the player, hate the game. They always say you can take the coach out of the game, but you can't take the game out of the coach. And that's where I'm at right now. I've turned it around to where I'm coaching behind a microphone right now. So thank you guys for joining me tonight. And let's move on. So I will try to work on getting some. Matter of fact, I've already got a couple scheduled for later dates that are going to be coming on the show. So tune in. I will advertise and make sure that I get the word out there so that you don't miss it. Also, you can go to the Coach's Corner YouTube channel and catch it there, because it'll be on anytime to watch at your leisure. Same thing for Coach's Corner here on Facebook. But speaking of the Coach's Corner YouTube channel, thank you all so much. We are literally up to 40 subscribers, and we're only 10 away from being able to go live. And that's so important, because any of you that know anything about YouTube is like they've got you can reach, seems to me like you could reach a lot more people through going live on YouTube than I'm doing on Facebook, because Facebook, I'm just getting the people that I'm friends with, which is quite a few friends, but still YouTube would be going everywhere. So I would like to try to get it to where when we broadcast this, we would not only be going live on Facebook, but be going on YouTube. So if you look down on the Coach's Corner, there is a link that you can like and subscribe. I only need 10 more. We need 10 more so we can get the show off live. Okay, enough of that. Let's dive into it. My gosh, the Browns have made a trade. Hallelujah. We're getting a lineman. I want you to listen to this. He was the number 1 draft pick for the Texans back in 2019 in the first round. He was a 23rd overall pick. He's 6'5", 322 pounds, and he is a right tackle. His name is Titus Howard, and had a pretty good year last year. The big brag for him is he didn't allow one sack, not one sack, to come past him. So I like what I'm hearing about Otitis. He is a big, big boy at 322 pounds and 6'5". He's going to be taking the place of Jack Conklin, who is no longer with the Browns. And so we needed a right tackle. I know that we've got a lot of draft picks, but we don't have enough experienced linemen, I should say, to where we're going to draft a lot of linemen, I hope, because that's my suggestion. We got to go O-line and receivers in this year's draft. But we need some experienced linemen too to hold, and be hold the hold the line, so to speak, and be a teacher to the young ones coming in about the pros. So I'm excited about that. They actually signed him, extended him to a 3-year contract worth 63 million or 62 million. Let me get it right. 63 million for 3 years, and I'm just hoping he's been steady at the position from what I'm hearing about him, and he's going to come in and do a good job for us in the Cleveland Browns. So that is the big news for today. Did you guys hear about it? Give me some comments and let me know. Am I coming at you with it for the very first time, or have you already heard that we've got Titus coming on board? So that really is a big game changer for the Cleveland Browns. Now, let me tell you why. Because now we don't have to worry about as much as, we don't we don't really have to take an O lineman at that first pick at number 6. We could actually go and get that receiver that we really, really, really need and have needed for quite some time on this football team. And they're out there. There's about 3, 4, maybe 5 receivers in the draft that could potentially fit that bill. And I think my receiver, but I don't want to break it down too much yet, because I want to announce that next week we are going to be diving into this NFL Combine, and I'm going to bring on one of my old coaches. He's been with me for a very long time. He's coached with me. We've been friends since we were kids, and this is what this guy does. He dives into the draft, into the combine. He has the stats on all the players, and I couldn't get him on the show tonight, but he has committed to come on the show next week for my birthday. So, yes, next Monday night will be my birthday, so make sure you tune in. I'm going to be a whopping 64 years young, and I'm doing Coach's Corner Talk Show on my birthday. I wouldn't have it any other way, because this is my passion for right now, is to get in front of you and share all my experiences that I've had in sports and talk sports with you. So, again, 6'5", 322 pounds. He had a steady year last year. No sacks allowed over him. That's phenomenal. So I look forward to see what Otitis is going to bring to the table. Now it frees us up to take that number 1 pick in the draft. For us would be the 6th pick, and pick a receiver. And Cleveland is not known to do that. So I think by them doing this today is a sign or a possible indicator of what's to come in the draft in April. So let me know what you think if you're on here. Do you think that we're going to take that? I'm trying to read the comments here that you guys are. Do you think we're going to make that number 1 pick as a receiver, or are we going to take a lineman? Because that's our 2 choices. Let's be honest. That's what we're going to do. We're not going to take anybody else. I know man, the Styles brothers had a tremendous, tremendous combine. And we'll get into all this next week. But we're not going to take them. We've got a good defense. We need to build this offense. I think if they were to take a defensive player this year like they did last year, Cleveland fans would, I don't know what they'll do. They'll lose their minds, that's for sure. We need offense. We need linemen, and we need receivers. So what's your thoughts on that? Let me know. Shoot me some messages here and let me know what you think. Should we go receiver or offensive lineman first? Lucy Nemeth, good to hear from you. Lucy Titus sounds hopeful. Hope they draft well. Lucy, do you think we should take that coveted first round receiver that could be our number one receiver for the Browns and to help Shador or whoever it's going to be, but I really believe it's going to be Shador, that could help him out and make our offense literally move forward instead of being so stagnant at times and not being able to get the ball in a receiver's hands. Let me know, Lucy, what you think, if we should pick a receiver. See what Jade's saying here. Oh, she's still talking about Tim Couch. Trade Dillon for the lineman from Vegas. Well, if they would take Dillon. John, you got to remember, Dillon wasn't even on, Dillon Gabriel, our quarterback for the Browns that played at the first part of the season. He wasn't even on anybody's depth chart until about the 6th or 7th round. So now that he's played a little bit last year and didn't look like he fared too well, I'm not so sure if we could get too many people to trade for him. But I'm with you, John. If we can trade and get him, Lucy says, yes, we should trade for a wide receiver. I think so, too. Or we should pick a wide receiver, not trade, I'm sorry. We should pick a wide receiver, number one, in the draft, which would be our number 6 pick. And I think Carnell Tate will be there. That's what I'm saying. That's my boy. There's other good ones. You got Lemon, and you've got a few other ones, about 3 more that are nice, big, fast receivers with powerful, strong hands that can catch the ball. So, like I said, I don't want to get too much into that. I really want to get into the Cavs tonight, but I want to kind of wrap this up with Titus Howard. And with him being being traded today, and us doing that after, Andrew Berry said he wasn't going to do it. He wasn't going to trade for a veteran. He's going to go with the youth, and then he went ahead and did this. I think that's a sign that they want to move forward to pick a number 1 receiver out of this year's draft. But we'll get into that a lot more next week when we break down the NFL Combine, how they did, and where we think that we're going to go. And I kind of got off the track here. I was chasing a squirrel, but we're going to have one of my coaches and best friends on board next week, and he's going to be talking football, the Combine, the Browns, and that is Coach Mark Paz now. He will be here. Coach Paz will be on next week, 7:30 on Coach's Corner. He's coached quite a few of these young men with me, and it's going to be a good time next week. You don't want to miss it. Oh, Mark's on here now. Coach Paz is on. With Petonio still contemplating retirement, we need to get O-line at 6. There's enough receivers to get one later. Okay. Well, if that's the case, I hope you're right. I mean, it could be. I think you could be right because we have, I think it's the 24th pick too. We got that from Jacksonville last year. So we might be able to get a receiver, and we've got several picks in the next few rounds. So I do believe we could get a receiver, but it's a preference, personal preference here, what you think, you would like to see the Browns get. And a lot of people are saying O-line. I cannot argue that because we need a dominating O-line. We need a Joe Thomas. Joe Thomas, if you're still out there, bro, we need you, man. We need a Joe Thomas to come back to this team and be a leader for us and get a few more good linemen, get to where we can run the ball again and help out that quarterback and help out the receivers. Because like we talked about before, I believe Coach Todd Monken, who come over from Baltimore, is the real deal. I believe he is a good offensive-minded coach, more so than the one we had. I think, I'm not even going to quit mentioning the name, but Kevin Stefanski, um, I don't think once it got tough and he had to make decisions on how to change his offense to accommodate the players and still get production out of them, I don't think he could figure out a way to do it, to be quite honest. So he's moved on. He's done. We've got Coach Todd Monken in. I'm so excited about that because I am an offensive guy. I'm an offensive coach, man. So I love to see this. But we're going to be having the defensive coordinator on next week on Coach's Corner, and we are going to be breaking it down. Coach, he's the defensive coordinator for me for the Mini Rangers, who we coached for 18 years, and he'll be on next week doing what he does. He is the stat man. He's my go-to guy, and I go to him for all the info, and he helps me break it down. So we'll be on here together. It ought to be a fun time next week. So make sure you join us, and let's go ahead and move on. I'm glad that Tyson Howard is on board. I think we picked a solid. I think uh, he's going to be a good, steady player for us. We don't want to pick somebody that we're going to pay all that money to and them not. And I think that he will. From everything that I'm hearing from some of the Texas beat writers and sports writers down there, they're saying that he was a steady, good right tackle. So, with that being said, we'll get into the Browns next week on the show, break down the NFL Combine, break down the draft that's coming up. We're going to talk players, so make sure you have your draft sheets out next week, and we'll go over some of that and get to the nitty gritty of it. Love to talk football and talk about all these great ball players. Man, it's like when watching the draft and watching the combine and watching the Super Bowl is like three of the biggest things to me that I can do when I'm watching any type of television. Those are three of my favorite things that I get to watch and do because it's just I love football and I love other sports too, but football is kind of my fave if I tell the truth. But anyways, here in Cleveland, Lord knows we have a lot to talk about our sports team. So let's get into these Cleveland Cavaliers. Okay, now here's what I want to say about the Cleveland Cavaliers. What are we saying here? Coach, get Tim on your show. You can still, what's she saying? You can call that, you can call that episode Coach and Couch. Oh my Lord. Oh Lord. I don't know. It's my daughter for you. She's a funny one, let me tell you. But I wish I could. You never know. If the show continues to grow, maybe that'll happen. John Landy says, build the line, then worry about the quarterback later. Yes. Thank you, John, because all day long, all I have heard is about Ty Simpson and them taking Ty Simpson. And I'm telling you now, I think the kid's a good quarterback. But I think we've got a good quarterback. And what good would it do us to draft another quarterback and not have an offensive line to put him behind? So you're basically setting people up for failure, like we've done for quite a few years. We don't have the nuts and the bolts and the foundation put together, and we bring rookie quarterbacks in and kind of throw them to the wolves, so to speak. So I am with you on that, John. Let's build the line, for crying out loud. So, how many of your Cavs fans out there do you guys watch the Cleveland Cavaliers? Let me know. Do you like the Cavs? You know, we got the history. We won a championship under with LeBron James, Kyrie Irving, all the other ones that were there. I mean, they were so Kevin Love. What a great memory that was for them coming back after being three down and win a championship against Golden State. Wasn't that something? So let me know if you're Cavs fans and how far you go back with the Cavs. Let me know um, what year you started watching and who were some of your favorite players. But as we're getting into that, I just want to start off by saying I watched them play the Detroit Pistons. Now, the Detroit Pistons is the number one team in the East right now. They're a tough, gritty, kind of like the Detroit Pistons of old with Bill Laimbeer and those guys. They're fighters and scrappers, man. I'll tell you that. But I watched them play a couple nights ago, and I was really kind of impressed up until towards the end of the game when some things happened. But to have both Harden and Mitchell sitting on the bench due to injuries, and for us to be able and go and play the number one team in the East and play them as hard as we did, and we were winning. And honestly, we should have won. But we made some really bad mistakes right at the very end of the game. One of them come from our $62 million a year player with Evan Mobley at the free throw line. All he had to do, people, and I know we say all he had to do, but listen, I bet you I could sink probably two free throws. I stand a pretty good chance of sinking two free throws at the line, and I'm 64 years old. And I haven't played competitive basketball for many years, but I still play here and there with my grandkids, and I've always had a basketball hoop up at my house. But I'm just telling you, he should have made the free throws. He was on the line towards the end of the game. I forget exactly what was on the clock. I want to say 15 minutes, 15 seconds. There wasn't much time on the clock. All he had to do was make the two free throws. $62 million a year. Make two free throws. Couldn't do it. He missed a free throw. Then, come right down to the end of the game, and who else? Their player goes dribbling down the court, doesn't even get to the half court line hardly, and Tyson grabs him from the back, and as he grabs him, he just elevates, shoots the ball at the time that he grabs him, and they call him for a foul. Now, that means it's a three-point shot because it was beyond the three-point line. So guess what? Detroit's player went to the line, goes up to the line. Cody Whitlock's on board. Go! Mark Paz now is showing his age. Coach Paz, Nate Thurman. You were Nate and I was Bingo. That's what we played. That's for sure. Bingo Smith, John says, you don't foul at the end. They're up 3. Cody, you know it. You know it, baby. You don't foul. Man alive. So Mark's saying, quit hating on Mobley. I'm upset with Mobley. Mobley, I keep thinking he's going to turn into all this most dominating player in the league. I know he won the Defensive Player of the Year last year, and he was better offensively last year than this year, but don't get me started how he sat on the bench for the first 2 games in that series, in that second playoff game we had, got us behind 0-2. So right now, I'm not feeling Mobley. That's all I'm saying. I'm not feeling Mobley, Coach. I'm not feeling him. He's a good player, but I'm not feeling him. I don't. Okay, so what do we got? John Landy says, I miss the Cavs of old. Bingo Smith, Footswalker, that era. Quit hating on them. Mobley, Pat said. My nephew is on board tonight. Cody Whitlock, football player, baseball player, played for the Mini Rangers, played for the North Ridgeville Rangers High School. He's on board, and he's telling it like it is. He said, you don't foul. Tyson fouled him with just a few seconds on the clock. You're up by 3. If you're going to foul him, you foul him as soon as he catches the ball. I get it. Then, okay, if you foul him, as long as it's not a shooting foul, he would have got 2 shots and we'd have got the ball back. Pass it in, game's over. I kind of get the concept of it. I get the strategy of it. But you can't let him dribble up the court and then grab him from behind because that's the first thing he did. He just soon as he seen him coming, he just shot the ball. The official called it, and guy walks down there, sinks 3 baskets in a row to tie the game. Then we go into overtime. Don't get me started on overtime. More problems with the shooting. And I'm telling you now, if I was the coach, I would have them in there. Kenny, if I was Kenny, I would have them in there practicing their free throws, especially them 2 guys. You're the coach. They're professionals. I know it. That's okay. Go practice your free throws. From now on, practice your free throws. The playoffs are coming up. 20 games until the season's over. You got to hit your free throws, man. You just have to hit them. Cody, we played well regardless with 3 starters out against the first seed. You're right, Co. And that's the good. That's the positive from this is we did play good considering that our starters were out and not in the game. So I'm positive about that. That's a good thing. But when you see like they were winning all the way through the game, right to the very end of the game, and then when free throws beat you, that's not good. Not when you're one of the stars on the team. You know, I wouldn't see Michael Jordan miss that shot. I wouldn't see LeBron miss those shots, along with a lot of other players. I don't think Donovan Mitchell would miss the shots, or Harden for that matter. I don't think they would miss the shots either. So, but here's the good news: we come out of it with hope that we took them to the wire in overtime for them to be able to beat us without our 2 stars in the game. And Max Strus is coming back. How many of you remember Max Strus? He was one of the highest rated 3-point shooters, had the highest percentage in the league, and he's coming back. So I look forward. I'm hoping he's coming back. Some people are saying that he's not going to make it back on time, but from what I'm seeing and reading, they're saying that he will make it back pretty soon and hopefully get him in shape to be ready for the playoffs, and let's make a run. I think even though there's some injuries, how many of you know it? Hey, Coach Swoboda and player Doug Swoboda. Problem, Coach, is players make things too complicated than what they are. Just focus on the fundamentals, a.k.a. free throws, equal free points. Thank you, Dougie Bop. Doug Swoboda is on the man, one of the toughest little football players I ever seen. He was a wild man on special teams. Cody Whitlock says, ready for Strus. You know it, Cody. He's the man called free points for a reason. That's right, John Landy. You're right. You're right. That's it. Oh, Dick Snyder. Coach Paz is bringing out Dick Snyder on me, man. Tricky Dick Snyder. That's old school, Paz. We're really showing our age here, bro. We're really showing our age. But I'm not kidding you. I bet Coach Paz now and I could line up at the free throw line, and I could do 1 out of 2. But I would bet, I'm just going to say this, bet your money on me. I think I could hit 2 out of 2. Still to this day. We'll find out one day. We'll try it out. Doug, thanks for coming on board tonight, man. I haven't talked to you for a long time. Give me a call sometime, bro. I'm glad you're on the show tonight, and we'll get caught up. Doug was a baseball player and football player back in high school. I'm not sure. I can't remember if he wrestled or not. I kind of think maybe he did. But anyways, he was a catcher and a cornerback and a special teams player in a league that was a division, I should say. It was a very, very tough division back in the day with Strongsville, Brecksville, Brunswick, and those schools. And we kind of had a hard time, but Doug was tough. Rick Barry style, he says. Yeah, Rick Barry shot his free throws. How did Rick Barry shoot his free throws? Who knows? I'm not going to say. How did he shoot his free throws once he got up to the free throw line? Somebody comment on here. I think now's a good time, since we're talking about free throws, I want to go to tonight's, before I start talking about him, I want to go to tonight's trivia question. The winner of tonight's trivia question wins one of these one-of-a-kind Coach's Corner hats. So if you win tonight's trivia question, it will be the first one to answer this question. I want to know how many free throws, since that seems to be what we're talking about right now, and what a good segue to come in with my Coach's Corner trivia question. How many free throws did Mark Price make in a row before he missed? One season. I'm not going to give you the season, okay? But one season, he made quite a few free throws in a row before he missed, and he was turned into be one of the most accurate free throw shooters in the history of the NBA. So the first one that can guess that will be the winner of a Coach's Corner hat. John Landy says, even your grandson was doing great with free throws. Granny style. Granny style. You got it, man. It's granny style. Rick Barry shot the ball underhand. And that's how he shot his free throws. And he was pretty darn good at it. So tonight's trivia question, we'll move on until somebody puts it on there, is how many free throws do you think that Mark Price made before he missed it? So now, Mark Price is a basketball coach right now. And I think, if I'm not mistaken, sometimes in the past that the Cavaliers have called on him to help our team out with free throw shooting. Well, I'd say make the call, baby. Let's bring him up and get him out here for some of these players, because there's just no excuse on it. Porter missed a couple very important free throws there in the game against Detroit. And, you've got your $62 million man that can't sink a free throw. Here we go back to the Shaq. If you remember the Shaq was absolutely horrible. One of the greatest players in the game, but that boy could not sink a free throw to save his life. Cody, you got it. You are the winner of tonight's trivia. Good for you, Cody. You got it right, Cole. 77 straight free throw attempts. Guess what the record is? I'll give you one more thing to guess. Guess what the record was for the most free throws? I won't tell you. So 77 is right, but if you can guess that, that would be great. I will come back and revisit the answer to that question in just a moment. But Cody Whitlock, my nephew, you nailed it. 77 straight free throws. Now, can you imagine? That's pretty good, man. 77 straight free throws. I don't know how many games that was, but it had to be quite a few games that he went to the line and sunk it. Mark Price was a 90.4% career free throw shooter. You believe that? 90. Come on now. You got to give it up for him. That is amazing. 90.4%. That's great, man. That's better than, I don't know if anybody's on our team right now that's shooting like that. But I say we get Mark Price in for a couple practices. Do it right now. Let's nip this in the butt before we get down to the playoffs and have somebody missing a free throw. Like Coach John Landy says, it's free. They call it free for a reason. They're free points. Cody's on and said, didn't Curry have 93 or 94 before missing? I don't know that to be the case. But back at the time when Mark Price was shooting, the research I did is he was one away from tying the longest streak in the NBA. It was 78 at the time, and he missed his 78th. I guess it just got to be too much pressure for him, and he bailed out on that. But yeah, that's what I researched today and what I found out. So, Cole, you're the winner. I'll make sure you get a Coach's Corner hat, baby. You deserve it. Good job, Cole. And let's move on and talk some more Cavs. So we had Donovan Mitchell and James Harden, who was out for a couple games. James Harden played last night. What's your thoughts on James Harden? I got to tell you, James Harden has done nothing but impress me, man. That guy has been a player and smart. I'm going to tell you, he has handedly, single handedly changed Jared Allen. I mean, that pick and roll that they run, that was like me and Coach Paz now playing back when we were kids, baby. Nobody couldn't stop it, and they can't stop them. And Jared Allen is killing it. That's why I ain't got time. I ain't got time for that, Coach Paz. I ain't got time to worry about Mobley anymore. You don't want to come on. You don't want to toughen up a little bit. You don't want to make the points you need to make. Get in there and do it. I know we need you defensively, but dude, you got to stand up for that kind of money. We've been waiting on you to turn into this player that every time you get a little bump and bruise, which I think the reason that is because, man, he needs to get some bulk on him. Let's just be honest about it. Get a little bit of muscle on him and stay out there when things get going. When things are tough, the tough get going, and that's what he's got to do, man. Let's see what he got. Best move we've made in a while. Yes, yes, yes. Coach Paz says best move we made in a while was getting a hold of James Harden. The beard, man. That dude's got a beard that you can barely see his eyeballs. It's all over his face, but it works for him, I guess. Cody says, I love the Harden trade. People were upset to see Garden leave, but that was, what's it say? It moved up on me. But it was all emotional. If you look at it from a basketball aspect, he was always injured and never showed up in the playoffs. Thank you, Cole. That's how I feel about it. DG had to go. He's another one. You were too soft. You're just like your boy Mobley. We should have wrapped him up in a nice package before the trade and got one more tough player, power forward that could come in and play a little center when we needed it and come in and helped out Harden and Donovan Mitchell. And man, I'm telling you, I think that's a championship. What do you think, Cole? You think that's a championship? It says, who did Queen Latifah embarrass during Stars versus in player? He played for the Cavs. Oh my God, I don't know, man. That's a good one. You're stumping me on that one, John Landy. But it's true, man. I think Harden's a good pickup. Good pickup. But so we got Max Strus coming back. You got James Harden, who right now he's nursing a. I think they said it was broke. If not, it's an injured thumb. But I watched him play last night, and he led the team, man. He was a leader. When he's got the ball in his hands, you got to be ready, and I love it. He is such a passer. Now, as good as Donovan Mitchell is, and he's one of the best, but I'm going to tell you what, how come Donovan Mitchell didn't figure out how to use Jared Allen? It took James Harden to unlock that, I think. So I know he was Jared Allen was doing good before Harden come on board, but he has done tremendous. That play that they run together is amazing. We needed someone. DG couldn't figure it out. He never did it with him. And so James Harden is a player, by the way. I'm just going on record to say we picked him up, and it was one of the best pickups we've made in a while. Says, I like the man, but it wasn't filling the player. He says, I feel like we have a good chance. We have to stay healthy throughout the playoffs. Yes. So that's what we're working on right now. Donovan Mitchell is out with a groin injury, but they're saying we get 4 days off after tonight's game, or is it tomorrow night's game? I think it's tomorrow night's game. We get 4 days off. Then after that stretch, after the 4-day off stretch, that Donovan Mitchell will be back. And that'll give James Harden time to heal up even more. And hopefully we'll see Max Strus when we come back from that 4-day stretch. Let's see what else we have here down. Oh, okay. Yes, now one more thing that I want to say. I'm really impressed with this. I know he made a bonehead play on defense, but this Tyson kid for us has turned out to be a really good player down the stretch here for us as we've had guys out hurt and things like that. So it's going to be interesting to see when we get Max Strus back. With Tyson, it's going to probably cut into a little bit of his playing time. But I will say this. We need all the good players we can get. So let's speaking of new additions though. We didn't talk about Keon Ellis and we got Dennis Schroeder who was on the team now and I got to be honest with you. I like him. I like the pickup. I think that Ellis guy, he's a player. I'm telling you in the playoffs, I think he's really going to show up in the playoffs at a defensive um, position. We need some help on that wing out there, and he's going to be the guy I think that can get it done. He's tough, he's physical, he can make his shots, you know. So I'm excited over Ellis, Keon Ellis, and then you got Dennis Schroeder. So I think they're paying dividends already to the team. So that was actually a very good trade. So once we get this all put back together, along with the guys we got on the team right now, guys, I'm telling you, if we can get it together and in that Detroit game, you could see the Cleveland Cavs. Honest to God, I think they toughened up a little bit. I don't know what's happened. I don't know if it's Harden, the Beard himself, has come over and it's like they're just playing better since he's got here. I don't know what it is, but I like it. I say keep it growing and getting better and getting more physical when the time comes. Two great defensive additions. Yeah, I agree. What's he say? Tyson does have a lot of potential. I do like Tyson, man. So hopefully, as we get down the stretch, that we'll be able to see these guys come on even stronger, and we'll be able to rest some of the players. And I think that's what it's coming down to. Because remember last year, right? Remember last year when they had the best record in the league, and we got in the playoffs and we just stunk it up. The players were wore out. They were tired. They got hurt. You had DG and Mobley sitting on the bench. We lost the first two games in the second series, and it's just like it was downhill from there. And then poor old, Donovan, Spider Man himself, he, I mean, he was just exhausted. You could see it on him. The guy played his tail off, man. So, guys, real quick, I know we're kind of getting to the nitty gritty. It's about 8:19, but I just want to say one more thing. Listen, I really need you to go to the YouTube channel, Coach's Corner. You can go to it right at the bottom of our Coach's Corner page here on Facebook. Go to the link, click on it, and hit like and subscribe. We only need 10 more subscribers, and we can go live on Facebook. And I believe that's going to change. We'll have so many more people on board. So please share tonight's episode with your friends when we get done. Make sure you share it on your Facebook page and with your friends and ask them to come on board next week. Next week now, it's a big day. We're gonna have Coach Paz now on. We're going to be talking about the NFL football combine, talking about the draft, and talking about the Cleveland Browns. Coach Paz is the stat man. He's my go-to guy. We're going to get into it. We're going to break it down next week at 7:30 here on Coach's Corner. Make sure you tune into that. Don't forget to hit like and subscribe for our YouTube channel. We absolutely have to have you do that. Coach Paz now says, to stop Detroit, you have to stop Cade Cunningham. Yeah, I don't know if we'll stop him, but I think we can probably stop everybody else. So that's how I look at it after that game. Now, watch tomorrow night. We'll be playing them at home. Or is that tonight? I'm trying to remember. It might be tomorrow night. I think we're playing Detroit again in 4 short days. So we'll see what happens at home with them. Oh, he says, oh, I got to be here next week. Yes, you do, Cole. Come on board. Bring your friends. Get your notebook. We're going to break it on down. Coach Paz has got the stats. He'll tell you how tall they are, where they played, how much they weigh, how many years they played in college football, who they played for. He got it all. So we're going to bring him on board next week. He's one of our guests. I do have another guest scheduled coming up that's going to lead into another guest piggybacking off of that. So look forward to the upcoming shows as we're breaking out. Like I said, I just like talking sports. A lot of times I like talking football, but as you can see tonight, I like the Cavs. I like the Guard. We're going to get into the Guardians over the next week or so here and start talking about them. Spring training's already going on. They look really good. They've got some excellent young ball players. They have so many um, that they're talking about sending them back. I hate when that happens, when they have to send them back down. But as long as we can hold on to them and use them when the time comes, I guess that's okay. So, Cole, make sure you're here next week. Um, what else? One more thing I want to say. Sponsors of tonight's show is myself, Terry Murray, realtor with Russell Real Estate Services. I've been a realtor for 26 years. If you're looking to buy or sell, call the coach for your game plan on buying or selling. Russell Real Estate Services, right here in your hometown, North Ridgeville. I go all over Northeast Ohio. So give me a call if you're looking to buy or sell. Call the coach for your game plan. All right, guys, we've got about 10 more minutes, no, about 7 more minutes left. So I just want to say that I appreciate you guys coming on. Let's break it down. I got one more note here that I want to talk about. You know, we talked about the game against Detroit, but actually watching them play last night with just Harden, the beard in the game, with just Harden in the game, it's a different team since we've got Harden, and they looked pretty good last night. It was a little bit of a struggle, but they still pulled it out, playing Brooklyn at Brooklyn, and it was a good game. And the guys, come on, we've got bench players on this team that we don't give enough credit to. So I think we have a pretty stout, you know, roster right now. And if we can just get them firing on all cylinders, right as we're actually gelling right now. We've only lost 2 games in about a 16 game stretch, I think. So if we get them gelling right now, going into the playoffs, we get Max Strus back, Cody. That's your boy. If we get Max Strus back and the way he hustles and shoots the ball, we could be in for something special this year. So don't give up on the Cavs. They remember that song, Come On Cavs? You got to make it happen, right? Come on now. Got to root for the Cavs. That's old school. That's an old school commercial that they still play sometimes. And I liked it, but it's true. Cavs are, they're ready for a good run here, I think. What do we have here before we get out here? We got, I don't want to get too excited for the Guardians just yet. Yeah, I agree. You know, we've got a good pitching staff, though, Cody. It says him and Merrill, baby. So Strus and Merrill. Merrill can shoot some threes, man. There's no doubt there. Where's D West? Jade's coming in. Jade, you're a couple years off here, Jade. You're a couple years off. Cody says 2 sharpshooters, and that is the truth. 2 sharpshooters that they are. Max Strus actually averaged 12.2 a game last year. He shot 38.6% at the 3-point, beyond the line at the 3-point shooting. He was a 38.6 3-point shooter, and that's pretty good. That's pretty darn good. And so we can use that as we get ready to go into the playoffs. So guys, don't forget, do the coach a favor here. Share this episode tonight. Share it with your friends. Put it out there. Make sure that you go. If you haven't done so yet, I'm asking you. We have been thanking you for those that have went on there and got us up to 40. So now we only need 10 more to subscribe. It doesn't cost you anything. All you have to do is hit the like and subscribe. More important, hit the subscribe button so we can get the subscribers, so we can get up to 50 and go live on Facebook. So, that's another episode of Coach's Corner. I am Coach Terry Murray. I'm so glad that you tuned in tonight. Anytime I get to talk sports with you is a good time. And don't forget, no matter how big your problem is, it's not too big for God. God bless. This is Coach Murray. Peace out.
If I said it, I meant it, don't question me now. Running the marathon,